So in this first introductory part, I will give you an overview of the swarm creativity concept and how it can be applied not just to bees, but to humans by analyzing their interaction patterns. I will be talking a lot about bees and how they communicate, but I will also talk about how humans interact over the internet using social media and face-to-face by measuring interaction through what we call sociometric badges. As long as humans exist, they have tried to predict the future. And in this class, we will be looking at how we can understand patterns of the past to predict what is going to happen tomorrow. And in the past, people have slaughtered a chicken and they have read chicken intestines to try to predict what's going to happen. Or, other option, they have read from the stars, and that was their way of predicting the future. Today, we have much better means for doing social forecasting. We can look at social media, and what you see here is a pattern of Twitter people interacting with each other, talking about different car brands. Or we can also use something which we call sociometric badges. You see here Javier wearing such a badge around his neck, and you also see a group of jazz musicians whom we have recorded and where we have measured the satisfaction of the audience with their play, measuring their interaction using the badges. What this allows us for the first time is to make Adam Smith's invisible hand visible. So let's now look at why I'm making a distinction between swarms and crowds. And more specifically, why I'm saying that crowds are stupid and swarms are smart. Swarms, obviously, that's the swarms of the bees. And crowds, that can be people like the ones here, which are some soccer hooligans in Europe that are doing not very intelligent things. On the other hand, this group of children here, using the one laptop per child, they are, I think everybody would agree, an intelligent swarm. So the question is, what sets crowds and swarms apart? The answer, it's very simple, it's about motivation. For crowds, it's all about money, power, and glory. And what you see here is a group of people chasing money. And for swarms, it's about love. It's about loving what they are doing. In other words, intrinsic motivation. As this group here of face transplant surgeons in the greater Boston area illustrates, that are working on the first face transplant. Obviously, everybody wants a little bit of money, power, and glory, but what really counts is intrinsic motivation, the love in what they are doing. So now I would like to talk about how we can apply this, and this means talking about collaborative innovation networks, or COINs. This is the underlying construct, and when I'm talking about swarms, I'm talking about those collaborative innovation networks. And to explain the concept, I would like to tell you a story from my own past. It starts with this person here. His name is Tim Berners-Lee, and he is commonly known for having invented the World Wide Web. I met him the first time in 1991 when I was a postdoc at MIT, just coming from Switzerland. I had a paper accepted about CyberMap, a system that was visualizing large bodies of text, and it got accepted by the ACM Hypertext Conference in San Antonio. So I was very happy, and I bundled up my Macintosh and took it to San Antonio. And when I was demoing my system, Tim, the person on this picture here, came. Nobody knew at that time who he was, and asked me whether he I would agree to allow him to put up some flyers on my desk. I was very happy to oblige, in particular because he had figured out that I was from Switzerland originally, and he was working at an institution called CERN, a physics lab in Geneva, so one Swiss helping another Swiss guy. And he told me that his paper about a system called the World Wide Web had been rejected by the program committee, but that didn't defer him. He still came to San Antonio, and he brought a big pile of his papers that he had printed out, and he put them up at my desk and at other people's desk. He was trying to recruit a group of people to work with him. He also tried to recruit me, but shame on me. I thought the system would never succeed and would not have any scientific merit. So I thought I had more important things to do. And then, but Tim was very persistent. He organized the Birds of a Feather session, and he got together his first group of intrinsically motivated people, the COIN, postdocs and graduate students that worked together with him to create the first version of the World Wide Web. He also was able to talk my boss, David Clark, the head of the Advanced Networking Architecture Group, to invite him to come to MIT as a visiting scientist. I still remember that Tim in the beginning did not have his own office. He only had a desk in the hallway and a big old clunky computer. And there he sat and he was communicating with the rest of the world. And among other things, he also interacted with Michael Tortouzos, who at that time was the head of the Lab for Computer Science. And Tim was able to convince Michael to start a World Wide Web consortium, and that was the group that really worked on getting the web off the ground. And this is the next construct in COINS. After the COIN, we have the learning network. This is hundreds of people that take the output of the COIN and test it and try the prototype, turn it into a real product. They then tell their friends and family, and that's, in the case of the web, it was the first users. That was people like myself and others, for example, Mark Andreessen, who then went on to create the first web browser, which made the web truly useful for everybody. And that's the thousands of people in the collaborative interest network that try out the output of the learning network and turn the prototype into a polished product. But this is the four-step process from the creator to the COIN, to the learning network, to the collaborative interest network that we see so many times, that turns disruptive ideas carried by a little passionate group, the COIN, into a real product.